Hello, and welcome to Cooking with Todd. This is Todd. For today's video, I've decided to do honey mustard chicken. For this recipe, you're going to need about 1.5 to 2 tablespoons of honey, about 1.5 to 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard. You're going to need 1.5 teaspoons of rice wine vinegar. This is seasoned. You can alternatively use some regular white vinegar or white wine vinegar. This is 1/8 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, a 1/4 teaspoon of MSG, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. You're also going to need about 8 ounces of pearl onions. These are frozen, so they're already peeled. You're also going to need broccoli as a side. You can use whatever side you want. And you're going to need 2 chicken breasts. The recipe that I have calls for toasted sesame seeds. I do not have that, but I do have some toasted sesame oil, so I will use that in its place. You're also going to need about 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and I am using this brand, California Olive Ranch. I cannot recommend any other brand other than that. America's Test Kitchen even said this is the best brand of olive oil. To get started, you're going to want to go ahead and fillet your chicken breasts. I will bring you back when I get ready to do that, after I clean my board off. Okay, so I got my board cleaned off and my chicken breasts out of the vacuum bags. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to cut these in half, about as even as you can. The best way to do this is kind of put your eye level with the board if you're not really good at doing this. But I'm just going to go ahead and do it like this. And if you don't get even, that's fine. You can pound these out a little bit. Okay, so these are still just a little bit frozen. They're frozen in the middle just a little bit, which is totally fine. You're going to want to go ahead and be preheating a skillet over medium-low heat. And I will go ahead and change the camera angle and bring you back. Okay, so I got the camera angle changed now, and what you're going to want to go ahead and do is you're going to want to add your olive oil into your preheated pan. About 2 tablespoons, I'm going to say. And you're going to want to fry your chicken once this comes back to heat. Which I'm just going to go ahead and add this now. And you're going to want to put the tail end sticking up on the side of the pan like this. That way those do not overcook, since those are the smallest portions of the chicken breast. And when you flip it, you can go ahead and put those parts in the center of the pan. I'll go ahead and bring you back once this is getting ready to be flipped. Okay, so these are about ready to be flipped at this point. I should also go ahead and mention that you are not going to want to salt and pepper these, because the sauce is going to be salt and peppered itself. In the back burner, I have my water boiling for my broccoli. And at this time, you can go ahead and see that they are about ready to be flipped. So you're going to want to go ahead and flip these. And you're going to want to just go ahead and let these cook until they're completely cooked. You're not really shooting for any internal temperature at this point. Okay, so at this time I'm going to go ahead and take the smaller pieces out of the skillet, since those are done and I don't want to overcook these which will just lead to them drying out. I'm going to go ahead and let these go ahead and cook for just a little bit longer, since these are the bigger pieces. And I will go ahead and bring you back once these pieces here are done. Okay, so I'm happy with these at this point. I'm going to go ahead and remove these. And I'm going to go ahead and turn down the heat a little bit. And set these off to the side. I'm going to go ahead and add in that rice wine vinegar to deglaze. And I'm going to add just a little bit more of that, since I had that pan just a little too hot. And I'll go ahead and just let that evaporate a little bit. Okay, so now you're going to want to go ahead and add in 5 ounces of water. And an ingredient I did forget in the beginning is a little bit of chicken broth, which will be a good majority of your salt, which is one of the reasons why you do not want to salt your chicken. If you salt your chicken, there will be way too much salt in the end result. I'm going to go ahead and switch off to a flat whisk. Okay, and at this point you can go ahead and add in your Dijon mustard. And also you can go ahead and add in your honey. And go ahead and give that a good mix. And also right now is when I'm going to go ahead and add in my pearl onions. These should not take all that long to really cook, but it is going to go ahead and cool your pot off, so you're going to want to go ahead and turn up your heat to about a medium at this point. And you're going to want to go ahead and let those cook. And I will bring you back after that is done. Okay, so these have been cooking now for about a minute or two, and they are coming up to a boil at this point. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is turn the heat back down to a medium. And I'm going to go ahead and add in a little bit of cornstarch, which is going to be diluted in a little bit of water. And this is just to thicken it up a little bit. Okay, so I got a cornstarch slurry right here with just a little bit of that cornstarch and water. I'm going to go ahead and add this in. And go ahead and give that a mix. And that's just going to thicken this up a little bit. And if it gets just a little too thick, you can go ahead and add in a little water. Which this is just a little too thick for my liking. Alright, so right about there is good for me. So now at this time I'm going to go ahead and add in the sesame oil. That's about 1 teaspoon. Give that another good thorough mix. And at this time I'm going to go ahead and add in the chicken along with any of the juices that remains on the plate. And then you're going to want to go ahead and flip these over to coat them. And then what you're going to want to do is lower the heat to a very low, probably about 1 or 2 on your dial. And you're going to want to go ahead and let these simmer. And I'm going to go ahead and cover this. And I will go ahead and bring you back when this is about ready. Okay, so this has been simmering now for about 10 minutes. And you can see it is thickened up kind of nicely. And I've flipped these a couple times off camera. And these should be heated through right now. And they should be at the USDA recommended temperature, which is 165, which I normally find a little excessive when it comes to chicken breasts, because at that temperature they normally get dried out. I personally prefer it to be at 145, but since I'm not really a commercial kitchen, I can get away with that. I'm not condoning that or recommending that for anybody. You do what you want to do for you and your family. But for me, however, this is just fine for me. About 145 internal. At this time, it is pretty much done. The only thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go ahead and add in your seasoning. Not all of it. Just sprinkle it over the top. About half of the mixture. And you're going to want to give this a good mix to incorporate that. You can go ahead and save whatever you have left of the seasoning mixture for the next time you make this. Since that would be a good way to use it instead of just throwing it away. But just go ahead and mix this up, and at this point it's pretty much ready to serve. I, however, am going to let this sit here and go for just a little bit longer. You can serve it with broccoli, which is a perfect choice to mop up the extra sauce. You can also go ahead and serve it with some red potatoes or mashed potatoes, whatever you want. This is how I prefer it, with a little bit of broccoli, which is sitting on the back burner and is done already at this point. But yeah, just go ahead and use whatever you want for a side. Don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button. Don't forget to press the bell to be notified when I upload another video. And as always, thanks for watching. I hope you stick around to watch me on this journey of mine.